Today is the 6th of April, and although it's very sunny, there's also a cold wind. I reckon it's only a couple of degrees above zero. But for the careful observer, there's already a lot of signs of spring to be seen in and around the garden. So I thought I'd take you on a little tour and show you some signs of spring today. Here in this corner of the garden, the Alpine cherry cress has started flowering. Had been hiding underneath the grass and between the thyme here, almost invisible for all of winter. And suddenly, the first sign of spring, a few warm days, they all burst into flower. It's actually an edible plant as well. It's brassicacea, and we sometimes pick the flowers and add them to salads. Chives is another very early spring vegetable. We planted clumps of these around the garden. Very easy, low maintenance plants. They pretty much look after themselves. And it's a very tasty addition to salads. You can actually pick them already now. This is a larger relative of chives. It's called Welsh or bunching onion. And this patch here I recently weeded and covered with some semi-composted farmyard manure. Again, that's all we do, not even every year. It's a plant that pretty much looks after itself. Can be harvested already now in early spring and all the way throughout the growing season. Yesterday the first baby goats were born. Two beautiful little girls, black and white, and a proud mother. Yasmin was the first one to deliver this season. She did a really good job. Everything went nice and smooth and easy. And after spending the initial half a day together in a smaller enclosure to increase the bonding and give them some rest together, they're now walking around freely again, and being little goats, of course, they climbed out of this bigger enclosure immediately, found themselves a nice warm snug corner here in the corridor where they can lay quietly. But soon they'll get thirsty again and they'll climb back in to get a nice drink from mama. Huh? Yes. Very well done, girls. Great start of the season. Another sign of spring are the blackbirds. They're literally almost everywhere at the moment, and they're rooting up the vegetable beds as well as any place that has been mulched. So because it's early, they're not doing that much damage, and they're actually really nice to have around. The song of the blackbird is of course a fantastic sign of spring, so they're welcome guests. If we look deep into the leaf litter here, there's actually something growing there, which is ground elder. A bit of a notorious plant, I'm afraid. Can be a really persistent weed, but it's also very edible. Very young leaves like these ones can be picked and just added raw to salads, and slightly older leaves can be cooked or stir-fried. They're quite tasty actually, and again available very early in the season. Finally, there's this section of the cold frame here in which some perennial rocket has been overwintering and is now already sprouting again enthusiastically. In between it there's some weeds, if you like, that have self-seeded here. There is yarrow, for example, and a dandelion even here in the foreground, as well as some sorrel. All of them pleasant leaves that can be added to a salad or just eaten as a nibble when you walk around the garden. in early spring.